So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Well, Aston Villa fans, welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. I was caught unawares there that my entrance music was going to finish, but Aston Villa 4, Bournemouth 0. I thought we couldn't score goals. I thought we weren't able to score goals at all, but it looks like we are. That was a really, really great game from start to finish. Aston Villa thought were absolutely amazing. The most complete performance we've seen all season, and just like, what a good Sunday. What a good Sunday, everybody. And thank you so much for coming and joining me to talk about it in what will be a haphazard, probably rampant at times with hyperbole, and altogether incoherent at times podcast about Aston Villa scoring 4 goals for the first time in a while, what seems like forever, but for the first time in a while. And also keeping a clean sheet because of a brilliant penalty save from Emiliano Martinez. And you know, as I said, if any of you guys saw my opera research podcast, you would have, you might have had a little chuckle to yourself during this game, because almost essentially everything that they went fully fledged in on either happened or went the complete opposite on it. And fair play to the guys. The guys are great. Don't get me wrong. Back in their podcast is absolutely superb. I know there's no issue there, but it was Ross Barkley. It was Emi Buendia might struggle down that wing, and it was Emi Martinez is one of the worst goalkeepers in the league. And all three of those players I thought were absolutely outstanding today. Specifically Emi Buendia, who Ollie Watkins got man of the match from Andy Reid, and I thought that was I thought that was a bit strange because Emi Buendia was clearly for me man of the match. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. And we'll talk about instances why I think he was outstanding in a moment. Just let me do a quick check on my system here, because I'm getting quite a lot of lagging on my side here. So I do want to just make sure, because a couple of people have said that my audio has been popping at times, and I want to make sure that all my systems are all okay and that I'm not causing any issues from overloading before I start going and chatting about this brilliant win and what seems like a bit of a statement win for Aston Villa at this time of the year, because it's put us up into 7th. Is it 7th place, 6th place, 7th place? 7th place we're in at the minute, with Liverpool behind us, but Liverpool to play. Sorry, there, not an updated one there. So yeah, Liverpool still left to play to play Manchester City today. And yeah, that's look, it's Man City and 19 points. So 19 points is third currently. Sunderland having the year of their lives at the moment are on 19 points. Aston Villa on 18 points behind them, along with Tottenham. Man City at 19, Chelsea at 20, and Arsenal at 26. So Villa very, very much so looking up the league. And as I say, it is definitely going to going to be a bit incoherent here because I'm on my own, and as you guys know, that I jump from point to point when I'm on my own at times, because I find that was a really, really exciting game, one that I'm certainly looking forward to watching back and talking about again. I just want to say as well, shout out to the huge Irish contingent that was over there. Vinny, you guys might see him. He pops up here every so often. Kahua Gaming. Vinny was over there. You had his Lucky for the Love of Paul McGrath hat as well, that we'll be getting more of those back into stock. If anybody wants one for Christmas, give me a shout. Vinny was wearing his hat, and Audrey, who always goes over, is always over in Villa Park, was wearing her Lucky Aston Villa for the Love of Paul McGrath hat today as well. So I'm going to put it down to at least one of those goals, at least anyway. No, we'll put down Emi Martinez penalty save was down to the luck of the Irish, because the two guys were over there wearing their hats over there. But let's start off, I suppose, at the start and the team lineup that we didn't get to do a team sheet tantrum. And the team lineup that Unai Emery put out on the field was, I suppose it was one that we could all predict. Guessand was sat down and Emi Buendia was brought in. The backline stayed the same. Amadou Onana and Boubacar Kamara look like they've made those two positions their own until somebody takes one of them off them. And then I think, Emi Buendia, our top scorer this season, justified every single second of his selection there as well. I thought he was brilliant. I really, really did. The game kind of started off. It was the slowish type of game. We had 2 yellow cards. Oh, sorry, they had the substitution early in the game, if I remember rightly. Jimenez, who came on, who actually went off again then at half time. But the game was kind of feeling out in the first 15, 20, actually, I suppose really until we got our goal, until about 2 minutes before we got our goal, actually. The game was very kind of touchy-feely type of game. We had two fouls. Morgan Rogers had a foul. I'm trying to remember what it was. Yes, he fouled Evan Nielsen. And when they were going on a bit of a break, actually, during that break, it was an incredible bit of work by Emi Buendia. He must, and I know they made reference to it in the commentary as well. I think Andy Reid made reference, did a brilliant job, I thought, in commentary. But in the moment, myself and my dad were watching it, and I was saying, who's that herring back? He must have ran 60, 70 yards, and it was Buendia, and he caught his man, got the touch in it, and unfortunately he went out for a throw, but he didn't look like it knocked the stir off him. He looks as fit as a fiddle, does Emi Buendia at the moment. But Rogers gets booked in the aftermath of that. Boubacar Kamara gets booked then for a foul on the edge of the area, which on Alex Scott. And at that stage, it was kind of end to end. There was no one really owning the game at that point, until we get a free kick in our own half, and Matty Cash has a bit of a crack at it. He swings his boot through it and drives it forward. And I think it was deliberate. And I tell you why I think it was deliberate, because it was almost identical to a type of free kick and an area that we kicked it into, and the run that Buendia makes to win the free kick for his own goal. It was almost identical to one of the runs and one of the free kicks that Go Ahead Eagles took against us. It was absolutely brilliant. He runs from deep. Watkins pulls off towards the sideline where the free kick was being taken from. Buendia runs from deep. You can actually see 2 people start to panic. The central midfielder who Buendia runs towards and runs past him actually begins to panic. Then the centre half comes across and actually takes him out. And I was screaming for a red card at the time, but it would have been the harshest red card going, I think, the way that it happened. But we get our free kick from the edge of the area, and then Buendia steps over it. And if you guys want to watch and see how brilliant free kick, don't get me wrong at all. The ball moves everywhere, lovely knuckleball. Well, it moves up and down, lovely knuckleball free kick. But if you want to watch the setup of their the second wall that they put in behind, and they put in the draft excluder underneath it, they almost give Emi Buendia a target to hit by going over them, because they put a small wall. And what I mean by that, the wall, like our wall was taller than theirs. Our wall was significantly taller than theirs. You had Onana, you had Pau Torres. I can't remember who else you had in the wall, but you had Pau Torres and Onana. And then the guys, you had Evan Nielsen beside him. You had, who else did you have? Was it, oh gosh, I can't remember. Truffert was there as well. There was somebody else there, but they were smaller men. And when Buendia gets it up and over, it goes up and over their side of the wall. And yes, the goalkeeper, I think Andy Reid said the goalkeeper probably should have saved it, but that ball's moving at pace. But if you go on Villa's Twitter and you look at the behind Emi Buendia still shot, you can see what I mean. That there's this lovely little kind of postage stamp that you put that ball in that area and you give it that knuckleball treatment, and you still have to hit it perfectly. Don't get me wrong here. There ain't a goalkeeper getting a hand to it, and even if they do, they're going to have a sore hand after it. So incredible free kick, really, really well done. But what I want to say is that before that, the work rate that Emi Buendia did to make that lung busting run, to win that free kick, and to do it, and then to have that and then to have that confidence to be able to put that free kick exactly where he wanted to put it afterwards, and it's chef's kiss stuff. And that's complementary football, guys. That's what that is. That is complementary association football right there. And that's what Aston Villa want. That's what we've wanted from Aston Villa all year. Truth be told, it's probably what we've wanted from Aston Villa for the last 18 months. And we've had sporadic games like that. It's been really good, but this one was very complimentary from start to finish, outside of the penalty that Bournemouth got, which, look, there are penalties in 2025, but what can like Morgan Rogers can't really do a whole pile about that. But they're given, and as I say, Emi Martinez saves it, and we'll get to that in a moment. But we go 1-0 up on 28 minutes through that brilliant free kick through Emi Buendia, and then the man who's becoming the new chaos merchant, I think, within our team, controlled chaos is what I'll put him. Controlled chaos is what we'll call him. Amadou Onana. Amadou Onana, when he gets into the final third, has some midfielders. Today, he had midfielders on strings when he got into that final third, because his pressing today was really good in that final third. It was really good. Yes, he loses the ball, I think, for the Alex Scott one, where Alex Scott gets through on goal and Kamara has to bring him down to get the yellow card. But Onana has midfielders struggle to deal with his size and his telescopic legs at times. He gets the ball back into the box. It was a free kick. It comes back out, or was it a corner? I can't remember which one it was. Comes back out. Onana initially gets it, plays it back out towards Morgan Rogers. Or Buendia first, then Buendia to Rogers. I think Rogers takes it past his man, puts it back to the edge of the area, and Amadou Onana swipes it, sweeps it beautifully into the bottom corner. Great to see him getting on the score sheet, building his confidence, building his aura. Very much comes across as another guy who is supremely confident, and I want to see him get a run of games with him being his confident self, to see what he can, how he can. I suppose evolve, or how he can evolve this team. And we're seeing it now at the moment. His great game against Manchester City, against Liverpool he was okay, and then he was good during the week against Maccabi Tel Aviv, and then today I thought he was absolutely excellent again then as well today, so much so that we could take the opportunity to sit him down after 71 minutes and give him a much needed break. So we go in 2-0 up at halftime, and we look all, for every inch I went, that's game done. We're not losing this game. Not a hope. Not at home. We're not losing this game 2-0. I actually went out, made a cup of coffee for my mother, made a cup of coffee for myself. I was taking it handy, and I waltzed in just as Lewis Cook was coming back onto the field. And then we have I can't remember when the penalty was given away. Can anyone remind me what minute the penalty was saved in? Because I can't remember what it was. But no, it was shortly enough after halftime. I think what was it, 10-15 minutes after halftime. And that was the only time I kind of went, oh, John Brooks has given them a penalty here. And it was a penalty, okay, right? I'm not saying it wasn't. We can debate about what handball is. In 2025, since 2020, that's a penalty, really. Do I agree with it? Probably not. But when it happens the other end, we get penalties for that too. So we have to play with the rules that are drawn up in the era that we're in. So the penalty happens, and then I'm like, this could be something that could rise their game, and could we be looking at another 96th minute equalizer here, and Villa snatch a draw from the jaws of victory here again. But then what a save! Like it's just a brilliant save. It really is just a brilliant save. It's the penalty isn't bad. It's not a bad penalty, but Martinez dives to the exact spot of where the ball is going. And I'd love to know if you gave him truth serum, Emi Martinez, and he made one or two brilliant saves before that as well. Don't get me wrong. Oh, Jesus. I thought he was really good today. I thought he was brilliant. He probably was, after Emi Buendia, I think he would have been my secondary man of the match. And that's in a game we've scored 4 goals. But that penalty save was brilliant. And I'd love to put truth serum on him to say, well, how much work did you do on Semenyo? Is that where he takes these penalties? And I'm sure if I go into SofaScore, click on penalties, I'll be able to see where his penalty map is, and I wonder, is it down to that corner? But he just stops it with his right hand and gets his hand on it. And it's not a save where he pushes it wide, he stops it dead. And it's just a brilliant save. But the key for me is the whole team reacted to Emi Martinez there like a band of brothers. All right. And look, I know we can be fickle as fucking all hell here on this podcast. And I know that after the Liverpool game, I went a bit hard, and I know I can. And look, that's my prerogative, is talking about a specific game. It's my prerogative to do that. I'm not an overtly negative person. I think that's fair. I think I'm okay in saying that, because considering I get hassled for not being overtly negative. at times. And I was irked by that because I thought it just changed the game. And then I went on and I did Claret and Blue. And I'm never on Claret and Blue whenever we win 4-0 or any other podcasts when we win 4-0. But I went on there and I kind of took that kind of cloud of kind of disappointment with me as well. And I know it's okay for us. Like as I said, we talk about it in the moment. But I mean, Martinez is a good goalkeeper. I mean, lest we forget that he is a very good goalkeeper and he's a very good penalty stopper. And he stopped that like an absolute boss today. And he made some really, really good saves throughout the game today as well. But as I say, myself and Dan Rollinson, we spoke about it. And afterwards we said, like, Dan asked the devil's advocate question. And to be honest with you, after the podcast, he said to me, he goes, I don't believe that question, because it was a question he asked. And he said it in the moment saying it was a devil's advocate question anyway. It wasn't what he actually felt himself, but he was like, is Martinez head in this? And I was like, the only people that you can ask are Martinez and Unai Emery. But you know what? I think the whole team gave the answer today, the way that they rallied around him. They all ran to him. They jumped on top of him. He was pumped to the gills. Kamara was pumped to the gills. Emi Buendia looked like he was 6'4". He was so, like, he had such a proud chest on him when he was walking away from that little conflab that they had afterwards. And the whole team went to Emi Martinez. And that seemed to lift our performance even more and deflate Bournemouth's performance even more, because we make a raft of substitutions. They make a raft of substitutions in the 63rd minute. And then we make a raft of substitutions in the 71st minute. And then Ross Barkley, who had just entered the fray 5 minutes beforehand, gets on the end of a Luca Dean cross and heads us into a 3-0 lead. And if anybody had watched our opposition research podcast, the guys in the back of the net podcast, once again, I'm not having a go at them, great guys. They did say that Ross Barkley has the best goal scoring record against Bournemouth of any player, I think, in Premier League history. And he gets on the score sheet again after 5 minutes with a header. And the commentary team made a great point as well. They said, doesn't Ross Barkley look like he's enjoying himself? Now, it's easy to look like you're enjoying yourself when you've scored the third goal and you're 3-0 up and you've come on the number 10 position. But Andy Reid, who I thought was absolutely brilliant on commentary today, I thought he was really good. So much I didn't know who he was, and I was complimenting him throughout the first half. But he mentioned that, Ross Barkley playing in the 10 position is his favorite position, and it's, that's where he was brought up as a footballer. That's where he's essentially made his debut. That's where he had his best games for Everton, best games for Chelsea, and he comes into Villa, and even Dean Smith time at Villa, that's where he was most effective for us before he got injured in and around November, and then had a poor back half of the season. So if Ross Barkley is going to continue to come on for the last 10, 15 minutes, and I know he scored today, but have an impact from that position and is feeling confident from playing in that position, well, then absolutely brilliant. That is, that's what we want to see. And it goes back to the Harvey Elliott thing as well. We all want to see Harvey Elliott in the team. He wasn't in the squad again today. But Unai Emery is trying to pick a 16-man team that can go out and play a combination of players that can play for that whole 90 minutes. And if Harvey Elliott makes it into the team and into the squad and contributes, well, then so be it. If he doesn't, well, then so be it as well, as long as these other players are also contributing, and Barkley's getting goals, and Daniel Mallon then comes off the bench as well. And I know he doesn't know a whole pile about it, the goal that he scores, but another guy that had just come off the bench in Yuri Tielemans, and Mallon was only on the field 45 seconds or something like that, but Tielemans was only just on the field, and it was he that drilled in the effort that came off Daniel Mallon that goes in the back of the net to make it 4-0. So all in all, Unai Emery, I think, will be supping his tea when he turns on this game and watches it back tonight and go, you know what? I think every decision I made today was absolutely spot on, and he would be dead right to think that, because starting Buendia, albeit that not a huge game-breaking decision, giving him that freedom, bringing Onana into that midfield. Maybe the temptation was to start Tielemans beside Kamara, but he keeps Onana in there, bringing Ross Barkley on, bringing Tielemans on, bringing Mallon on, keeping them in this game, building their confidence and building the confidence of the whole team. I think was fantastic. And look, it's easy to be hyperbolic in a 4-0 win, but this is a 4-0 win that Aston Villa looked every single inch a 4-0 win team in this game as well. I thought that we were very, very economical with the ball. at times. And I thought that we got forward. We had shots on goal. We created things, and I thought that we played in a different way against the team that are no mugs and that are were flying high, I suppose, before this. Today's defeat, I think, for them has dropped them down to like 9th position or something like that, or maybe even lower. Great win for Aston Villa today. It's just a brilliant win for Aston Villa. We're up in 7th position currently at the moment, +3 goal difference. I'm looking at Bournemouth. Yeah, Bournemouth are down in 9th at the minute. So as I say, Liverpool and Man City, the two teams that are ahead of us, are still left to play. We're level in points with Liverpool. We're 1 goal worse off in the goal difference stakes, and we're 9 goals worse off than Man City, but we're only 1 point behind them. And I think, guys, it's about time that we start to say that we're having a pretty decent season in the Premier League now, given how concertinaed it is. And yes, I know people will turn around and go, "Oh, if we'd started a bit better," but we didn't, and we've recovered. And we've done what Unai Emery has always done. And we've gotten ourselves into streaky positions. And we've beaten teams that are flying high in the league. And we've not done great against teams that are maybe middling or are coming to have a go at us. Or maybe, not coming to not have a go at us. And that's fine. And we let the bygones be bygones there. When we talk about it on the 9th of November as to where we are in this league, we're in European position right now. We're in European positions right now. We're more or less qualified in the Europa League. Yes, we're out of the League Cup. We have Leeds coming up next, who lost again. Did Leeds? Yes, Leeds lost today, weren't they? They went 1-0 up today, and then I think they lost 2-1. So Leeds are just hovering above the relegation zone. So we've Leeds next. We have to go to Ellen Road, and then we come back to Villa Park then to finish off for the rest of November. And I think Villa can go into this international break coming up soon, and I think they can be pretty happy with how they've bounced back, I suppose, from some kind of mind-boggling results at the start of the season. All right, I'm going to come to some of your comments because I know that I didn't come to many in the after the Liverpool game last time, and I do feel bad. And there are some times when I just get too worked and I don't want to react because look, I'm as human as everybody else. I tried to stay as even-keeled in defeat as I possibly can, but I was a bit hot under the collar after that Liverpool won, so I didn't want to leave the side down. Let's put it that way. So let's come to some of your comments here. British Mick says Buendia was unplayable. He scored and won the ball back for the second. He then closed down tirelessly after that. No doubt for me. I think so. Absolutely, British Mick. I think he was brilliant. I think he was superb. And you know what? It's an absolute breath of fresh air to have him back in this team. And I just watched him watching here on my phone, the Daniel Malin piece again. There's no way he knows what he's doing there when that ball hits him. But fair play to him, he'll get the credit for that goal. But Buendia is brilliant. He was absolutely excellent today. And you can call it a stroke of luck from Unai Emery, I saw some people call it blind luck. We looked into Buendia coming back and playing as well as he is. That to me is a small bit of nonsense, I think, really, because we'd seen that Unai Emery was getting very good performances out of Emery Buendia before he got injured. So it's not a stretch too far to think that he could have got good performances out of him afterwards. Working in this PFF or this PSR, should I say, era that we're working in at the moment is a bit of an issue for, I suppose, players' security and staying at the team. And Emery Buendia was one of those ones that potentially could have been sold in the summer, but are we damn lucky we didn't, because he's proving he's worth every single time he goes out on that field at the moment. I'm going to scroll down here as well. John Montague calls me Father Dunworth. Yeah, I might do that, actually. I did contemplate doing that. The Sunday service was going to be a podcast whereby I was going to put on do it as if it was like a service at Mass, and then I went, no, I'd burst into flames if I did that. I'd burst into flames if I did that for sure. Samuel says Ollie was good today, but so was everyone. Great change bringing Yuri on because of the press. Absolutely, I thought Ollie was good today, but again, you need to get him into the goals. He had 1 or 2 shots that were blocked. I think he was robbed by that defender's foot. I can't remember. Was it Senesi when Pau Torres cushions a beautiful header across the goal? Senesi just gets the touch on it, and Watkins just like Watkins just had to put his laces through it, but it never got to him. And I think that was, I would have loved to have seen him get on the score sheet as well. Shane says, hello, Neil, back in brilliant form. The whole team in general. I have to, this is a very complete performance from Aston Villa today, a really good performance and a Unai Emery type performance as well, I think too. Bicycle Sauce says Barkley and Tielemans were excellent off the bench. Bogart too. That midfield is super stacked. Wow. Absolutely. That midfield is really stacked. There's genuine competition in that midfield now. And there's a genuine bite when players are coming off the bench. They're not coming on, like they have to come on ready now, ready to impact it, because like it's too competitive in that midfield. And long may they all stay fit is what I'd say. Long may they all stay fit as well. Again, the priest looked down to a T again from Joe. Absolutely. Where are we? Yes, Alan Healy says important for the goal difference today. Yes. What was it? We were like miles into the season last year before we had a positive goal difference, if I remember rightly. And realistically, it's what bit us in the arse come the end of the season. So goal difference is always good. And I know we were talking about, Villa haven't scored an awful lot of goals this season and so on. We hadn't conceded a pile either, in comparison to bar the Palace game. So we're +3 goal difference now at the moment. You look at Liverpool are +4, Sunderland are +4. Tottenham, City, Chelsea, and Arsenal are all above us. But there aren't too many other teams then that have. Palace actually have +5 as well. But we don't count the 3 goals they scored against us, so that makes us way better then. That's what I would say. Where else are we? I'm going to scroll right down here. Thank you so much to Jason McWalter as well, who says some result up the Villa. Thank you. Thanks a million for the super chat, Jason. I really, really appreciate that. Luke Sever says that was one of the best performances in ages. Fight all over the pitch and skill in so many areas. Unreal save from Emi at the important time too. And that's why I was struggling to find the minute that he saved the penalty. And apologies if someone put the minute in there. It doesn't really matter now, but it was an important time because we were 2-0, go to 2-1, there could have been a bit of squeaky bum time there as well. So there is that. And Jeffrey Twang says, Buendia is a beast. Gazok says Onana was great again, and I agree with both of those. Absolutely. And Western says here as well, that this is in relation to what British Mick said about Buendia. He's proving a great professional, no sulking. Absolutely. Isn't it a breath of fresh air? Absolutely brilliant. Love to see that as well. Tom says Buendia is on fire. Jake Aston Villa says Konza would have got man of the match if not for a couple of misplaced passes that could have been costly first half. But Buendia, like a new signing, he loves us, plays with his heart in his sleeve, up the Villa. Konza is brilliant. My dad turned around to me at one stage as well and he goes, geez, that Konza is like a block. In the middle of it, in his best West Limerick accent, he said it, but I had to laugh because he got so into it at one stage about Ezri Konza, and I was like, "You get it, Dad, you get it." Brilliant. Where else are we? John Montague saying, "I love a T-shirt with the logo." Neil, we actually have some up on our website that we never ever actually advertise as well. So might throw something up on Twitter later because people want to get some things for Christmas, hats or T-shirts as well. They are up on our website, so you can get them through there. But I'll pop up a tweet later on if anybody wants to know about that. Where else are we? Brian Kavanagh says Andy Reid and commentary is refreshing, listening to a coach's perspective, and he's a good coach too. He's very well thought of, Andy Reid. I enjoyed him. I enjoyed listening to him as well. There was one I thought he was overly harsh on the free kick. Saying the goalkeeper should have done better because that ball does move. But Andy Reid could whip a free kick himself. He was a talented player, Andy Reid. If only he could have. He's a bit like myself. I could have been a pro if I could only step away from the sandwiches a small bit. And look, I say that with absolute peace and love to Andy Reid because, Jesus, he got a raw deal with Ireland at times. He never got the amount of caps for Ireland that he deserved. Just a really brilliantly talented footballer. Andy Reid. Look, if that's what's to come from him in the commentary box, I'll be interested to hear from him in future because I thought he was very measured. I thought he was really, really good too. As well. Where else are we? I'm going to scroll down here as well. Premier says that Martinez is man of the match, but Ali wore them down as he always does. Suchi over in Thailand says super energy from a Villa fan in Thailand. man, Sujib, I don't even know what time it would be over in Thailand at the moment, but it must be early, I would imagine. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tony D. Donner says, what did Martinez say to Semenyo at the end? Well, I didn't see it, unfortunately. I missed it. But what a performance from Buendia, McGinn, and Martinez, who was unreal. Tom asking who the Irish commentator was. It was Andy Reid. We mentioned it there a moment ago. And as I say, I agree. I thought he was really good. And he gave really good insight as well there too. Where else are we? Noel Connaughton is confident enough to say that we're staying up at the moment. That's an in-joke between myself and Noel. We are definitely. I think I'm confident enough to say that we're staying up as well this season as well. Where else are we? I'm going to scroll down a small bit here. Richie, thanks a million for becoming a member here on YouTube as well. Joe says the world's #1 song back all of a sudden. That was emotional. Look, he deserved it today. He made a brilliant save from the deflected shot, made a brilliant save from the penalty in, and I just thought he was really, really good overall as well. Where else are we? Jim Reaper says it's testament to this Villa team that a player of Elliott's character can't even make our bench. That's do you know what? That's the way I'm choosing to look at it as well. And it's an amazing Onana goal. Took my breath away, says Tom. Just swept it into the bottom corner. He's so nonchalant sometimes the way he plays football. It's a detriment, like. But and for players like that, when they make a mistake, it's amplified. But when they do things like that, it needed no power. Well, it needed no massive run up, or like he didn't hit an awful hoof at all. Like he just swept it into the bottom corner, I think is the way that we should kind of describe it as well. John Steele says that feels like a statement win. Watkins didn't score, but his work rate was brilliant. I will never disagree about Watkins' work rate. I just really want to see him score a goal as well. Dev says that Barkley goal has been used before, aka Buendia's header against Everton just before he did his knee. Yes, I've seen that goal before, and I think it's been referenced that we've scored that goal a couple of times. Actually, you know, that it's a pre-prepared move. Did Onana score a goal like that as well before? I think Barkley actually scored a goal like that as well 2 years ago, the year we got into the Champions League, or maybe it was last year. I can't remember. But yeah, I think it's been referenced that we've scored that type of goal quite a lot. It's like a Pro Evolution Soccer goal. You run down the line, you cross that ball in, you get your head, usually it's on the ground and then you just sweep it home or whatever. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I would say there. Spencer Bakewell, thanks a million for becoming a member on the YouTube channel. Really appreciate that. Absolutely. Gaz Oaks, I think, was it 67 minutes that the penalty save was? I think that might be what it is. I think that might be what it was. I'm going to scroll right down here. Anne O'Grady says, out proudly walking the line in Ballingarry while listening to you, Neil. Ballingarry, that's my hometown. Great to see Anne representing back home in Ballingarry as well, for sure. Where else are we? I'm going to scroll right down here. Crunchy No Cornflakes says Malin should have had 2 goals today, but he seems to get more chances than Ollie does. Well, he got one that he didn't know a whole pile about, and then he did have a chance towards the end as well. But look, chance creation, I think, is huge. And if we can wear teams down and start creating chances in the last 20 minutes like that, because I think our defence is actually pretty good. And I thought our defence was good against Liverpool too when we were at 0-0. Obviously, the goal kills it. But, if we can keep tight in defence, wear teams down and start scoring goals later on, a couple of 1-0 wins, a couple of 2-1 wins like that, they're not going to kill anybody. You know, they're what they're what good league seasons are built on. They're what good cup runs are built on as well. So absolutely all for that as well. Tom says Emery is the best manager we've ever had. Period. Emery is the best manager that I've seen in a long, but probably the best manager I've seen in my lifetime. And I was born in 1985. How's about we do it that way? Best manager in my lifetime. I was born in 1985. I know everybody's trying to do the maths there, and I was just 40 recently, and now people are trying to understand that, yes, I might be the oldest looking 40-year-old in the Northern Hemisphere at this moment in time. That it's what following Aston Villa does to you. Where else are we? John Duran is Emery out. I love it. I absolutely love it. Where else are we here? I'm going to come down and do a couple of more comments there as well. Where else are we? Sorry, there's a couple of conversations now going on in the chat. So when I'm scrolling down through the comments, it's hard to decipher who's having a chat and who's having a chat with me and who's having a chat with everybody else in the chat. Joe Walsh, yes, Barkley scored something similar to that at Leicester. Yes, I definitely remember him scoring something like that against a team in blue, for sure. So that might have been what I was thinking of. And Matthew Bambrick says, I'm a young looking 50. I feel older than 50, I'll tell you. I really do. My young fella has walked every day of his life. He's never stayed asleep longer than 5 a.m. in the morning. So that's why you might see some crazy early tweets from me. So sleep deprivation is the norm at the moment, unfortunately, considering I do a lot of podcasts at 10 o'clock at night as well. Sleep is at a premium, but time enough to sleep when we're in the wooden box. That's what I say. Time enough to sleep then. There'll be a bed for me wherever after that. Last one here is Prez from Lion Omar says, our midfield will be crucial in getting us more goals this season. Absolutely. And that's what we have. So you look down through our midfield, there are goal scorers there. That's why the competition in and around that area is so important. Onana's got a goal today. John McGinn's been scoring goals for us. We know Yuri Tielemans has goals in him and definitely assists. Okay, we're not going to get a ton of goals out of Boubacar Kamara, but he's the driving force there as well. Barkley comes on, gets a goal today. Defined roles within that midfield area is something I was shouting for under Steven Gerrard. And it was one of the biggest reasons when Unai Emery came in. I went, oh, I love him already. I love Unai Emery already. We've got defined roles in midfield. And that's what we seem to have. And look, Boubacar Kamara draws make sure you defend with every single sinew of muscle in your body, please, Boubacar. And that's fantastic. And he does a superb job of it. We know how good he is, and he gets maybe he doesn't get the same, or he's only now beginning to get maybe some praise from around the league. But I don't care what the rest of the league thinks, as long as we get to see him in claret and blue forevermore, because he's an absolutely super player as well. Right. I think I'm going to leave it at that, guys. But what I might do, maybe, very maybe, I might come on later on, because I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch that game now. The kids will be asleep around 7:30. I'm going to try and see if I can watch that game, and I might come back on with some still shots, because I thought there was one or two little tactical changes that Unai Emery made to counteract Bournemouth, specifically to counteract Bournemouth's midfield in the likes of Tyler Adams, who maybe should have been sent off. But to counteract him, and to counteract what was the other lad that was in there, or Scott, who was in there too, who's just been called up to the England squad. Good player. I thought there was one or two little tweaks that were made specifically in that three that play behind Ollie Watkins. So I want to have a look at it and see if I can actually, if I've got any tangible proof of what I think is going on in my head with what I saw there. And if I do, I might come back for a shorter one tonight, because look, it's important to celebrate the wins. It's also important to analyze why we won, what we did differently, and see then if this is a replicatable situation, or if it's done by maybe Bournemouth playing into our hands as well. So, that's all part of it too. So thanks so much, everybody, for joining me today. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching us. It's been a pretty, very good week for Aston Villa. When you think about it, our young lads won against that Albanian team, won 6-0 to get into the next round of the Europa Youth League Pathways competition, for the Champions Pathway competition. Our women beat Man United yesterday, which was a super win. Our young lads beat Wolves yesterday as well, if I remember rightly. Rory Wilson scored and Jim Oloba scored yesterday for that. So we'll be doing an Academy Chats podcast, which will be out probably tomorrow morning as well. So going to do a little feature every Monday morning on the Academy for 8-10 minutes in the Villa AM. And now Aston Villa's senior men's team go out and pretty much have their way with Bournemouth as well and win 4-0. So really good weekend for Aston Villa. Obviously, we beat Maccabi Tel Aviv as well during the week, so that also counts. Long may these good days keep coming, because under Unai Emery, with confidence, anything is possible with this team. And also, anything is possible when you have a wonderful group of guys who come and watch our podcast like you guys. So thank you so much for your time as well. Now go immerse yourself in all the other Aston Villa podcasts for the rest of the afternoon. But above all, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.